Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. Some may choose the guitar and others may say the drums, but in my humble opinion, the human voice is the greatest musical instrument. Not surprising, as it's the only one made by Jah himself. It's far more complex and when properly honed, more powerful than any man-made instrument. And in any band, it's fair to say that the singer is the most important factor. In this video, we're counting down our picks for the 10 greatest reggae singers of all time. It's important to note that the criteria here had nothing to do with the all-round success or popularity of the artists, but is based solely on vocal ability and giftings. Now let's go. Number 10. The inspirational Garnet Silk. This singer and devout Rastafarian preacher started out in music as a dancehall toaster at the age of 12, but will switch to being a singer around 1990 and praised Jah that he made that switch. He was endowed with a warm and smooth tenor and could captivate listeners with unbelievable power that was always wrapped in emotions and smooth delivery package that never missed the mark. And whether live performances or studio recordings, Garnet Silk's voice always brought the heat. Number 9. Barrington Levy. This phenomenal vocalist is the only dancehall artist on this list, and for good reason. Nicknamed the Mellow Canary on account of his powerful piercing singing voice, he's also among the most unique reggae singers with his trademark 1-in-a-million ad-libs. Once you hear diddly wo oh oh sing, you just know who you're listening to. He grew up idolizing Michael Jackson and Dennis Brown and would hone his voice imitating them, singing up in the hills of Clarendon before moving to Kingston to make his dreams come true. His vocal abilities are so startling that one of the first time he sang on a sound system, he almost caused a riot, as people who lived in that neighborhood literally jumped out of their bed in their pajamas onto the street to see the owner of that powerful voice. Number 8. Jah Cure. Sekaturi Alcock, aka Jah Cure, may have in recent years been in the news for reasons beyond his music, but he is undoubtedly among the most gifted singers on Jah's green earth. Some music critics have described him as being the possessor of the greatest voice ever given to a human being. Ever since he was discovered by Capleton's David House crew and mentored by Beres Hammond in the early 1990s, he's mesmerized his fans, fellow artists and producers with his powerful and hypnotic voice. And when we survey the field of his peers that he came up with 3 decades ago, no one else comes close to the range, texture and power that his voice possesses. Number 7. David Hines. In almost 5 decades since Steel Pulse's founding member and frontman David Hines emerged on the scene with his legendary and Grammy Award-winning band, he's been celebrated for his sublime stage presence, guitar skills, and brilliant songwriting. But it's always blown my mind how amazing the man's vocals are. Blessed with an exquisite voice that's powered some of the greatest anthems in reggae history. Whether he's belting out lyrics on live performances or singing in the studio, his beautiful ringing texture always shines through and sets him apart as one of reggae's greatest voices. Number 6. Michael Rose. Now if there's an artist that typifies the modern roots reggae singer, it's definitely this guy. His unbelievably powerful, wild, but beautifully controlled singing style is like nothing we've seen before. Started out as a Dennis Brown imitator before developing his unique style that's become inextricably linked to the Waterhouse area of Kingston where he grew up and where Black Uhuru started from. His once-in-a-lifetime vocal stylings were the perfect vehicle for the hard-hitting material that Black Uhuru would become known for. And whether it was a story about violence in the ghetto or a tribute to Herb, Michael Rose's gritty and brilliant singing brought it to life like no one else could. Number 5. Tabby Shaw. If there was a countdown for sweetest voice ever in reggae music, then the Mighty Diamonds' late lead singer would win it hands down. The group was modeled after the great vocal American harmony groups like the Chilites and the Stylistics, and Tabby Shaw as the frontman of the Mighty Diamonds more than delivered with a powerful yet gentle and sweet voice that touched the listeners' hearts at a base level. Whether he was crying for a roof over his head, lamenting about Marcus Garvey's predicament, or fantasizing about Africa, Tabby Shaw's voice touched us all in a very deep and personal place that we could all relate to. His achingly expressive voice easily places him among the greatest reggae vocalists to ever do it. And number 4, Luciano. Jephthah McClymont, aka Luciano, easily makes this list courtesy of his booming baritone that's been blowing listeners' minds since the singer emerged in the early 1990s. This second-generation reggae crooner also started out as a clone of Dennis Brown, but over time would develop his own distinct style. His vocal texture and exquisite diction has made him a favorite among fans and even producers, who always found him a delight to work with. and thus it wasn't a surprise to me when Rolling Stone magazine listed him in its list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. Number 3. Toots Hibbert. In the eternal words of Frederick Nathaniel Hibbert, aka Toots Hibbert, I live to sing because I have to sing. This reggae pioneer began in music as a member of his church choir as a kid and would grow up idolizing American soul R&B artists like Otis Redding and Curtis Mayfield, and he would wed his gospel music foundation with his R&B love and would develop his gruff and soulful dynamo of a voice. He will slot in nicely in any lists of the greatest vocalists across all genres and is truly among the greatest reggae singers that we have ever seen. And now, before we continue, it's vital to give a shout out to 2 incredible vocalists who are more than deserving of a spot on this list. The first of these is the great Ken Booth. This incredible crooner is the possessor of an amazing, soulful and astounding voice that saw him become one of the greatest stars of the rocksteady era and is, in my opinion, among the greatest vocalists of all time across all genres. And the second is Freddie McGregor, a legend that's been in the limelight since his emergence as a child star back at Studio One in the 1960s, and is also one of the best singers to ever walk the planet. Now let's continue with the countdown. Number 2. Gregory Isaacs. Gregory Isaacs, aka the Cool Ruler, was described by music critics as being the most exquisite vocalist in the history of reggae music. His baritone had a yearning, sensitive quality that made it the perfect foil for the romantic numbers and ballads that he would become known for. Despite what was a strong and immense voice, he always sang in a low, charming and seductive tone that, coupled with his swagger, earned him the title of Jamaica's Marvin Gaye. His wordplay and delivery was out of this world, and he was said to have been an avid reader of the classic romance novel series Mills and Boone, and he would draw inspiration from those books that he would pour out in the recording booth with unrivaled emotion and vocal dexterity. And coming in at number 1 is the great Dennis Brown. Dennis Brown is the most accomplished and gifted singer to ever emerge from Jamaica. He was Bob Marley's favorite vocalist and was crowned the Prince of Reggae. And while Bob Marley is the world-renowned king of the reggae genre, but if we're looking at impact on the industry, no other artist influenced other singers like Dennis Brown has. Described as a singer's singer, Dennis Brown's lush baritone voice and smooth singing style was copied by as many as 80% of all upcoming artists by the 1970s and 1980s in Jamaica. He was the ultimate stylist who every young singer always wanted to sound like, and would inspire 2 generations of artists who would follow his template. And in addition to some of the singers on this list, he inspired too many to mention in this video. His voice possessed a rich, honey-coated texture that easily places him among the greatest singers to ever do it, and definitely the greatest reggae vocalist of all time. And like his disciple, Luciano, he was also listed on Rolling Stone's list of 200 greatest singers, though I strongly think that he deserves to be higher up on that list. So there you have it. Thank you for watching the video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, God bless.